Today we're going to do 6.9, and again we're talking about surface area, but now we're going to do pyramids and cones. So we have two examples here. The first one that you see is a right cone because this makes a right angle right here. And we're going to define slant height on the next slide. And then we also have a regular pyramid. Again, we have that right angle, and again, that's slant height. The first definition that we need to get is slant height, which we saw on the previous slide. And a slant height is measured along its lateral surface. So where you see that point come, it's going to be on that lateral surface. And we see that as a letter L in cursive. The next definition is a regular pyramid. And again, it's going to come to a point, but the base is going to be a regular polygon. So polygon meaning many sides, so not a circle. And lateral faces are all congruent, so congruent means they're all going to be the same. Finally, in a right cone, the line that is perpendicular to the base, so it's going to create a 90-degree angle, and goes through the tip of the cone and will pass through the center of the base. So we're going to find surface area of this regular pyramid here. So notice that our base here is a regular polygon. So we're going to do this just like we did in 6.8, where we are going to find each of the areas. So you can think of this as when it opens up, how you can see we have a square here, and then we have 4 triangles, which we would have seen here that there are 4 sides. So let's start with doing the area of the square. And to find area of a square, we're just going to do 12 times 12, which is 144. Now let's do the area of the triangles. So to find area of a triangle, you're going to do base times height divided by 2. The base of the triangle is 12, the height is 8, and then I'm going to divide it by 2. So 12 times 8 is 96. 96 divided by 2 is 48. But I not only have one triangle, I have 4 of them. So I need to multiply 48 by 4, and I will get 192. Now I'm going to take these two and I'm going to add them together. So 144 plus 192 is going to give me 336 units square. And we could have included units squared after both of those. So this is my final answer. So let's try finding the surface area of a cone. And this is the only one of our objects that's going to be different. So we're going to start the same way though, where if we were to look at this as not a 3D object, we would see that we have a circle and then we have part of a circle. So let's first start by finding the area of that circle, which would be pi times radius squared. So pi times 3 squared, which is going to be 9 times 3.14, which is 28.26. So above it, I'm just going to create an overall formula. So to find the surface area of a cone, it's going to be pi times radius squared. Then, just like we were doing before, we have to add it to the second part. So what we're going to do to find the second part is we're going to do pi times radius times the slant height. So I'm going to find this area of that second one. So I'm going to do pi, my radius is 3, and my slant height is 4. So I get 12 times 3.14, which is 37.68. And now all I have to do is add these two, and you get 65.9 units square. So this is the part that's new, so make sure you have that in your notes and that this goes with a cone. Okay, let's find the surface area of this regular pyramid. So as I'm going through it, I want you to try to pause. I want you to pause it at different places and compare your answer to mine. So I'm going to start by finding the area of the base. And I notice that this is again a parallelogram. So I'm just going to multiply base times height. So I'm going to do 1.5 times 1.5, which is 2.25. Now I need to do the area of my triangles, and to find the area of a triangle you do base times height divided by 2. So my base is 1.5, my height is 2, and then I'm going to divide by 2. So I end up getting 3 over 2. And I'm going to leave this as a fraction. And then I'm just going to multiply by 4 because I have 4 sides to this. So think of this as 4 over 1. And just like we did in the previous chapter, we can look top to bottom on what we can replace. I know that 2 goes into 4 2 times and 2 goes into 2 1 time. So 3 times 2 is 6. So now I'm just going to take the two areas that I found, and I can put units squared after this, and add them together. So I get 2.25 plus 6, and we get 8.25 inches squared. And we actually could have put, instead of units, let's put inches squared, since that's what they gave us. Okay, let's try a cone. So again, remember you're going to start by finding the area of the circle. So we're going to do radius squared times pi, which is 4 times 3.14, which is 12.56. We are going to add that times pi times the radius times the slant height. So see if you can figure out what this next step is going to look like. So you should have put pi times 2 times 5. See if you can figure out the next step. You should have done 10 times 3.14. Then in that final spot you should have 31.4. See if you can come up with a final answer, and if you need to, round to the nearest tenth. So when you add these together, you get 43.96. And because I have to round to the nearest tenth, which is this spot, this 6 is telling me that I need to bump this up, which means I also have to bump this up, so it's going to be 44.0 meters squared. Okay, at this point we've gotten through all the examples, so now I want you to do your best on the exit slip and try it, and then we can go over it in class tomorrow.